I think I'm playing chess, I see a king, I'm at his neck. I'm 3 steps ahead of every move, now that's a check. Yes, they wanna know my secret, it's because I never slept. All my nightmares of me at 40, life's a wreck, see my dad.
Anyways, what's up everybody? Fernando Petty here, the UVO Podcast, right here in, are we in Murray now? We're in Murray, Utah. Today on the show, guys, we have a guest, QUINSEE Beach. You guys probably already know her from the last podcast. She is filling in for Alan today. Alan got some excuses today, is what I like to call him. Anyways, today we're joined with a good friend of ours, Ben Daniels.
I love the applause.
I'm like, what do I say for the introduction for Ben? So Ben is a serial entrepreneur, you guys. We're excited to have you here on the podcast, by the way. But again, Ben's a serial entrepreneur. He's involved in a lot of different things. Right now, currently, Ben, you are pushing properties with Edge Homes and also...
sell real estate, primarily real estate, mortgage. My wife is licensed as a mortgage.
But we can talk
officer.
about Daniel's Real Estate Company, right?
Yeah, Daniel's Real Estate Services is our new company.
Okay.
And
there we go.
And it just kind of came from, the last 2 years has been interesting in real estate, right?
Yeah.
We went from meeting in person to a lot of Skype and non-person meeting and selling homes through. And I think people are transitioning that back to that point where they're like, I want even more than I had before. I want my realtor to be more than don't just sell me a house, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want
they're
you to
missing
be
that connection.
Oh, for sure. And it's been great. When I go out and meet with clients, I come back and I'm like, wow, how fun to meet people again and find out, because our whole purpose before was to be that wise guide through the process, right? And find out what people are looking for and put them into the right home and into the right, because new construction is interesting, right?
Yeah.
You can pick the perfect lot for you and then build that perfect house. Where a lot of times with the existing, it's tough because you're like, oh, I love the location, but I hate the house. Or I love the house, but I don't like the spot. But now we're getting back to that. And I love meeting with people again. But I think people are, as in the last 3 years, we've gone from probably 11,000 licensed realtors to 20,000 or 18,000.
Yeah.
So buyers are a little bit more selective, and they're looking for someone that's going to be more than just their realtor. They want a resource. They want you to be their person.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
With everything related to real estate.
Yeah, and that's a good segue into Daniel's Real Estate Services, but I don't want to talk too much on that right now.
Sure.
I definitely don't want to turn it into a real estate podcast. That's one of the things that we're like, hey, yes, we are all in real estate, but let's try to shy away from that. There's too many of those.
Well, and that's why I think with all the businesses I've done, maybe real estate's the one that's made me that's where I've made my income primarily. But every business leading to here has given me the tools to do well in this industry.
Yep.
Even if it was a failure.
Yep. Oh, well, that's where you learn the most. And we'll talk about those for sure. I mean, we've all got them, right? A lot of our guests have them, right? Alan has them. I have a ton of them. But I noticed that through my years of being here on earth, whatever, being alive, is that those have been the best teachers for me and the best learning lessons. And a lot of my friends who are extremely successful talk about that. And then I talk to a lot of people who maybe not be that successful financially, and then you get to hear their story. And if they're not in the grind currently, then they don't really have a lot of failures that they've been able to learn from, right? Yeah. And that I feel like is the most valuable education you can have, is when you fail. That's something you're trying really fucking hard to get.
Right. I was reading. My wife and I drove to Vegas and we listened to Green Lights, Matthew McConaughey's book.
Matthew McConaughey's book.
Love that book because it's all about everybody knows that person that feels like they just hit every green light, right? Yeah. But hitting those red lights is where you grow, even in a relationship. Like I've had my wife and I through our 22 years have had a lot of red lights.
Yeah.
But that's made us so much stronger through all that. And I wouldn't change it. Some of those really hard times and failures in a relationship and in business is what pushed us to grow beyond it and be that much better.
Yeah. Speaking of relationships, cool fun fact about Ben. Mm-hmm. My wife just started watching that show, Real Housewives of Salt Lake. And Ben's actually in a lot of those episodes.
Yeah. He's in a lot.
I'm in the background.
You are in the background. But you see you a lot in there, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Like, we're watching the other day, and my wife's like, oh, look, there's Ben. And I'm like, where? And I think you guys were at like the Top Golf, playing Top Golf in Midvale. and like in the background just hanging out. I'm like, oh, that's
Him and
pretty
his
cool. You know, that's pretty dope. So yeah, somewhat of a unofficial local celebrity here.
He honestly
in
is.
the
That's one thing.
podcast.
Ben he's known everywhere. Anybody, like, you go and you meet around Salt Lake City, you're like, oh, hey, you know, I feel like I know you from somewhere. And it's like, oh, you probably know me because of Ben Daniels. Like, he's the connector of a lot of people.
Yep.
Well, and that's, I was telling my son's a computer programmer, and I was like, Josh, I might not be the smartest guy, but I have a great network of people.
Yep.
And I felt like that's the best thing I've built is just, if you can, and even through a lot of my failures and going through bankruptcy and losing things and businesses falling apart, being a good person through that solidifies those relationships. You ever felt like, you're in real estate?
Yeah.
Have you ever felt like the best real estate or client relationships you have built through the most difficult transactions, right?
Yeah.
It's just brutal, but you're boy, we're solid because we got through this together.
Yep.
And so I think my network is really good because just going through some of these really tough times with people, it just solidifies. They go, you were solid when it was hard, when it was down. And
Yeah, I have a lot of relationships like that, more so in the businesses that I've had in the past, and business dealings with personal friends, and then developing real true friendships through personal dealing or business dealings that maybe not have went the best. Right. But I find that in those situations when times are really fucking hard, and in business when there's money involved, which is, you know, magnified by like 1 million, in those relationships, you really get to see people's true colors.
Sure.
And you get to see if they really truly have your back, and if they don't. And we've been able to witness that. You know, don't want to go too far into it, but we've witnessed that a lot in our company, where you really truly believe that this person has the best intentions for you. And then when times get tough, their true colors show. Yep. And you're like, oh, there's that gut feeling warned me, but I didn't listen, you know, and I think that's something that everyone can use as a learning lesson, maybe even in their own lives or their own business, that if they have that weird gut feeling with people, it's usually always right. And when it comes to light, is usually in those tough situations,
right? You
know, when shit's falling apart. But luckily we have a solid team here.
We do.
And a solid ass company.
Well, how great is it as a team? Like, well, and even at Edge, we're a team, but we compete with each other. But it's really fun to see people on that team support you and do something or help your client when they have nothing to gain.
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast. It was Jordan Belfort and Grant Cardone.
Oh, I heard that one. Grant versus Belfort. Whatever.
It was so great. And he was like, what do you, I think it was Steven or Belfort was asking Cardone, what do you do when you feel stagnant in your business? How do you like re-energize yourself? And he goes, I go do something for someone else.
Yep.
So like, I'm always in my head, like, how do I build my network's net worth? I'm going to get up today and I'm going to close a transaction for a friend that has nothing I'll benefit in no way from it other than it feels good.
Yeah.
And it just gets you in that like mode of selling. And that's what I think salespeople love is the actual transaction. It's like, it's not so much the money, right? It comes, but you like, I love the like
that journey.
Yeah. Just closing the deal and the whole process of it. It's so fun.
Yep. Well, since we're on the topic of businesses and business failings and all the fun stuff that comes with business, you've had quite a few in the past.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what the hell got you into becoming an entrepreneur first and foremost. How was your upbringing? How were you influenced by money? If not money, how were you influenced as a child? Because you're not from here in Utah, correct?
No.
Where were you from?
Montana. Grew up in Lolo, Montana, in a small town. When I first took my wife there, we drove. It was 7:00 at night. We drove through, and she couldn't believe there was a street light was flashing yellow. And she's like, "What's going on? Why is it flashing?" I'm like, "It's nighttime. There's nobody out."
Oh,
so
wow.
the lights stop working, and you just go.
Wow.
So super small town, and it just I joined the military, and when I gotten out, I came down to Utah for my mom's wedding. And as soon as I got here, I was just like blown away with just I don't know. It just seemed like there was so much success and just a different energy.
Yeah.
You know, Montana, I worked construction most of my life, and everybody was kind of the same. There was no one pushing you to be more, right? And all of a sudden I'm surrounded by all these people that are doing these big things. And I thought, wow, it was almost like a paradigm shift, right? They always tell you, you're the product of the 5 people you hang around the most. And it's so true. Mm-hmm. If you're around driven people, like I want to be the brokest person in my network, so that I'm always pushed to do more, right? And you see people do things, you're like, wow, well, they can do that. I can sure do that. And so I'd gotten, actually one of the first things was like a network marketing company, of course, Utah.
Yeah.
So
Yep,
many of
we're
them.
famous for our MLMs.
Famous
And
for Ponzi
it was
schemes.
related to, it was related to life insurance, and I got licensed, and I did in it, and I never made any money at it, but I learned a lot about networking and building and stuff like that. And then the big one was I'd been working construction, and I was refinancing my house, and a loan officer told me, he's like, yeah, I'll refinance your house, but you should probably build with this builder. It's like, yeah, sure, cool, I'll build a house. Yeah. Met with him, started building a house, and Connie, actually, my wife, got her license. She goes, I think that'd be fun. I want to sell new construction, it'd just be fun. So she did, and she worked for 2 months, and she's like, you really need to do this. This is your business. So I started working there, and that kind of, we started on, you're self-employed as an independent contractor. Started making some money, which I never even thought possible. I just, was around people. And then we went to Vegas with some friends, and we're sitting it was right when XS opened up. It's like 2005.
Yeah.
And we're at this nightclub, and we thought we were so smart. We're like, wow, you know what Utah needs? Utah needs a nightclub.
Utah, all the drinkers here in Utah.
Yeah, right.
And the awesome liquor laws.
Like,
It's the best place to put a bar.
Utah needs a hot spot. And I always have people call me like, I'm thinking of opening a nightclub. I'm like, let me tell you why not. Anyway, so we had this great idea. It was 3 married couples, all in real estate and lending. We decided we're going to open a nightclub. And I just happened to know Johnny Ritchie.
Oh, yeah, the fighter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Little Ball of Hate.
Yep.
He was the announcer for Ultimate Fighting. It was Mike Stibbs' kid.
UCTC.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ultimate Combat.
He said, hey, if I know a building that's for lease, we'll do the fights on Saturday. I was like, oh, this is great. We already got our Saturday night covered. And it had been a nightclub. It was the old Bay building. So we go check it out. It actually was Vortex at the time.
Yep.
And it was trashed.
Yep.
So we're like, cool, let's all do this. We had this, so we all invested a bunch of money, put our homes up with collateral, and we personally remodeled that building over like 6 months. And I remember taking my kids there at night and putting them in this little corral, and we would remodel this building, and we opened it up, and it was awesome. It was amazing, but we had no idea. I remember putting together this like P&L, and I was like, oh, all we got to do is have this many people, and we're just going to kill it.
Yep.
And we ran that club for about 1.5 years, and I had no idea some of the challenges of opening a nightclub in Utah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a tough business. Yep. It was a mega club. It was 14,000 square feet. To get that place full was tough.
Yeah. 3 levels, right?
Especially in
3
Utah
levels.
and in
2 levels,
2005. At that time, there was nobody out in much of a club scene, I would say.
Well,
I mean, it wasn't as popular.
It was all the realtors, because that new construction was killing it then.
Yeah.
And then 2000, we opened it in 07. So then 08 hit. And then all the high rollers were gone, when real estate tanked.
Yeah.
So we, in fact, it was tough. So this July of, I think July of 2008 or 9, I can't remember which year, we had to close our nightclub. Tommy Lee was the last artist we had, and we were just all in for that night. And we were like, we kind of knew we were going down. We just couldn't handle the legal and the battle. It was still a private club situation in Utah, and all the clubs were like trying to shut each other down. It was just brutal. And that same month, the builder I worked for and the nightclub shut down. So we were just done.
Wow.
And that was like a big reset. We just kind of went from this really high point and lost everything. And
so when you say lost everything, though, I mean, let's hit on that, because people they might be like, oh, he lost the investment, or he lost his house.
No.
Okay, so tell us about that.
So, I was one of the first of my friends at the time to go, I'm tapping out. Our house, I built my house for like $330 in Harriman, 4,500 square foot house, went up to 580 like that. I mean, this was during the time in new construction, people were building homes and in 6 months flipping them, making 50. Mm-hmm. And they were flipping to another investor, and then another investor would flip to another investor. Like, there was nobody, it's not like the market today. Yeah. There was no end users for these homes. And so, we just were like, all right, moved out of our house. And the builder let me live in the parade home. He's like, go live in one of my homes. And he was trying to keep it together and stay in business. And then it was just one thing after another. Like, I remember my kids saying, Dad, why do people keep coming and taking our cars? I was like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, well, how the hell do you answer that?
Yeah, so, we went down. We lost all of it, everything. Ended up divorced. And it wasn't because of that. There was just a lot of other things going on. So it was a really hard time. 2009 and 10 were the years I'd like to just forget ever happened. Yeah. But at the same time, I don't think I'd be where I am today without going through that.
Yeah.
It was like hitting rock bottom, losing everything, having to start over, and rebuild. I actually turned my nightclub over to a group, a conglomerate, and I worked with them for a while. And then I met QUINSEE's husband, Billy. My wife actually met him. She was working for a title company, but we weren't together at the time. And I met Billy, and I went to work with him selling mortgages.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the start of my way back. You know, I had completely reset. I was living in a friend's basement on an air mattress.
Wow.
So I went from living in a parade home with 6 cars, living the dream, had a nightclub, to sleeping on an air mattress with my 2 kids.
And how fast was that? Just to give people some insight. I mean, when you opened it, just a year and a half?
Yeah, had the club open for a year and a half.
Yeah.
And, you know, high rollers, we'd roll up in our brand new Escalade, and they'd pick us up, and it was like, the owners are here, and we'd party all night. And, you know, and for me, it was a business. So I was constantly running around trying to handle things, and some of the, you know, it was tough. And it's hard to be in business too there was 3 couples that all had different visions for it. So that was challenging on our friendships. But one of the things, I had someone 2 years ago I ran into, and they said, I love you because when you went through that and you lost everything, you made sure I was taken care of. You got me covered. Like, I put them before me.
Yeah.
And I think that helped establish credibility for me as I kind of built my way back up.
Yeah.
That I was solid and was going to, you know, take care of people. If I make a commitment, I'm going to follow through on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably been huge for your networking for everything in all of your businesses that you've done. Because from, you know, the beginning, since I've known Ben, he's always been that person that takes care of people and puts other people first and puts other people's happiness and joy sometimes above his own. But I think that really shows his resilience and where he kind of goes, you know, and learning more about you and about this nightclub and that situation. I honestly, I've known Ben, but I didn't know the depths of what you guys went through.
Yeah.
And seeing how you bounced back from that's pretty inspiring.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. Yeah. So the club is gone. That lifestyle taught you, I'm sure, a ton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Business sometimes cannot be pretty. I mean, it's really crazy to think about. I mean, I have a lot of friends who are entrepreneurs, and just so people who are thinking about jumping into, you know, becoming an entrepreneur and putting it all on the line. I would say it's like 1 out of every 100 businesses, maybe even more, that start end up making it past a year, 2 years.
Well, and I at the time was, you know, because of Johnny Rockwell, Johnny Ritchie with Rockwell, he introduced me to the owner of Rockwell, and he was telling me, he goes, there's always this, you have to have a great business plan with a great product, and you have to have luck. Like, there is an element of luck. Like,
there is.
Perfect timing,
timing.
time when it just happens. Mm-hmm. And every business you've seen is like, they're just going, and then they have this point where they just explode.
Yep.
And you just have to push through it. Most people give up before they get there.
Yep.
And nightclub thing is something it's not something I saw being long-term. And you've seen in Utah, they are hot for 3 years.
Those names switch quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So tell me what the name of the nightclub was.
Bliss Nightlife.
Bliss. Yeah, Bliss. So my wife and I would go there. That's pretty crazy how small the world is, you know?
Well, and from that, though, I met everybody. Mm-hmm. Like, you got to know everybody. Like, people would drop your name to get in, and Utah's a very big town, but a small town, right? Like, everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, which is great about it. I really love that about Utah.
Yeah.
And so from that, when that went down, then I went and I did mortgages with Billy, and we did that for a long time, and that was a lot of fun. I worked in radio for a while. I sold radio.
Yeah. Didn't Billy try to do that too?
Billy did the sportscasting for Rockwell.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
It was?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We've all kind of, and then ended up running as a second job. I've kind of had 2 jobs my whole life. Just always got something else going on, right? I ran Park City Life for 5 years and met Catherine Burns, who's been a great friend. And in meeting her husband, who I actually talked to yesterday, he's an incredible businessman. Learned so much from him. And just that was another avenue to just network and meet a whole new group of people. But then I think during the time I was running Park City Live, I started a trucking company with another buddy of mine. We were hauling crude oil when oil was huge up in North Dakota and down in Texas. And that was doing very, very well, growing really fast. And then it got to a point where all of a sudden the price of a barrel of oil went from 110 to 50, and it was
there's a lot of variables in that business.
And then, I mean, you've run enough businesses. There's a book, I can't remember what it's called, but so many people get in the trap of they start a business, they just continue to reinvest and grow and grow and grow and grow, and they never pay themselves.
Profit first.
Yeah,
Profit
that's
first.
the one. Yep. Yeah, you've got to pay yourself, or what's the point?
Yep.
Just to build something and then.
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine. He always listens to these, so he'll probably hear it. But he told me we had a company together, and he's like, we shared a space, a commercial space, and he said when we had money in the account and there's only a little left, and I'm going to draw the line at some point with that mentality, because when the landlord, the rent was due, he was like, no, we need to pay ourselves first. I'm like, hold on, bro. We're going to lose the whole place.
Hold
on, right? But, you know, there's some places you got to draw the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's more like, should we open 2 more branches or pay ourselves?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, hit your commitments.
Yeah. But I got that book. I read it. It's a good book. Yeah, that guy has a lot of good stuff too. But yeah, I think that it's funny you talk about the book, because we are starting a live show we're going to start doing on Facebook and Instagram and Twitch and YouTube and wherever they'll let us stream live. But we're definitely going to be going over stuff like that, because I don't know how I hear it a lot. People are like, hey, it's very important to read and listen to audiobooks and stuff like that. But the people that I know who are not crushing it are not doing that. And I know a lot of them personally. And the people who I know who are crushing it or on their way to crushing it in life, they do that. They listen to audiobooks. Yeah. And it's crazy, because you bring up stuff like that, and I know a lot of them. And I go through my Amazon Audible, and I've got so many in there that I'm just like, damn, man, like this guy told me about that book. That's good. And we saw eye to eye on this because of that book. You know what I mean? So I think that kind of stuff is really important. The whole education we talk about, you said you and Connie, when you guys first went self-employed, you know, a lot of people think being self-employed is an entrepreneur, and it kind of is, you know what I mean? But there's levels to it, you know, and to get to the next levels, you have to get educated. And if you don't, and you're in business, your business failings will educate you.
Oh yeah.
You know, they'll teach you. But yeah, so, I mean, right now, Ben and I are trying to work a deal out with some hair extensions on a company that you have right now. Yeah. And I'm really impressed so far when it comes to the product. So I know that you definitely do your R&D, you know, before you go all in, which is really good, because my wife is doing all the work right now, but she's going salon to salon, getting feedback, talking to people, and everybody is like, wow, you know what I mean? And I'm like, that's good for me to hear. That's good for my wife to hear, you know, but, thank you for starting that business.
You know what's interesting? When you say what you said about it, it made me realize, and I've known this about myself, my biggest failing is I'm a horrible delegator. I think I can do everything myself.
Yep.
Oh, no, I'll just do it. I'm one of the only agents that doesn't have an assistant. Why don't you have an assistant? Yeah. I should. But I just have I have such a hard time letting go of, and it's not control. It's just, I think I can do everything.
Yeah.
And there's a point where you're like, I don't have the time to do all of this. I need to delegate or hire and that's, so with all these companies, I thought I could do everything, and I can't. Yeah. I need to find the best person in this area and let them do that. And so that's one of the things I've learned most of all, is just to bring good people around and delegate.
That is so damn important. That is so important. That's why I love QUINSEE. She jumped on board and she saw the vision from the beginning, which is cool, because when you surround yourself with people who share your same vision, sometimes when you get off track, they can remind you. And she reminded me, you know, I think like 2 weeks ago we had that conversation, and I was just like, yeah, what the fuck? Like, thank you for slapping me out of this. You know what I mean? But no, that's really great. And it's funny that you say that, because I saw that about you. You know, I saw that about you. What do they say? Perfection is the killer of all business, or I don't know, what's a saying like that, quote like that. I heard it this weekend, but perfection, this guy, I got to say this. I knew you lived in a model home before, when you said it with a parade home.
Oh yeah.
Because if you go to his house now, it looks like a damn model home.
It always looks like a model home.
I got to tell you,
always.
The house is perfect.
Well, that's not me. That's my wife.
Okay, well, shout out to Connie, because
the greatest homemaker. It is gorgeous.
Yeah, dude. No, I was like, my wife and I, we left after we went the first time. I'm just like, I swear that's like a model home they're like living in right now.
She's so funny. When we go on vacation, she's like, our house is a disaster. I'm like, well, there's a fork, you know, by the sink, but I don't know that.
Yeah.
Looks great.
Yeah. No, I love that about you, man. I mean, and again, you did such a great job setting up this company that you guys started. And we'll give it a shout out. Extra hair extensions, So Extra. So Extra was just for the package, correct?
Yeah, our daughter came up with that.
Yeah.
We were trying to come up with a name, and it started around, my wife had done hair for years too after taking a break from real estate, and we had a salon in our house, and she's had used all these different manufacturers. She's like, man, I have this problem with this one and this problem with that one. I just need a really good, solid, consistent quality hair.
Yeah.
So her and her friend decided to go off, and I sent her to China twice, and they sourced the hair and found because there's all different levels, like anything, you can get, and we found the highest, best quality hair. Spent 2 years making sure that it was right, and we're trying to come up with a name, and we wanted to have more weight. If people don't know about hair, there's, have actually more hair than most of the other competitors. And our daughter came by, and Connie was saying something. She goes, "Gosh, Mom, you're so extra." Perfect.
Honestly, it is perfect for a hair extension company.
Yeah. Yep.
So
no, that is good. And here's the other thing. Don't you love that about real estate is that you could be in real estate and you could start. I mean, it just gives you such a solid foundation, for you to do other things and explore other options as far as career choices or investments or, starting companies. I love that about real estate. I found that in my short time here in real estate. That it's just such a good foundation that you can always go back to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it teaches you all the skills that you need to get there.
Yeah, and push you ahead, and then you can get other companies' investments, which is good. I think Robert Kiyosaki talked about it, the 4 quadrants, where he's like employee, self-employed, business owner, business investor, or investor. And people will jump from, it's such a easy entry level. Like it's such an easy entry to get into real estate. All you gotta do is pass a test, 120 hours. But they'll do it and they'll go from employee to self-employed, and if you guys want to crush it in life, that is not the end goal. You don't want to be selling real estate until, you're 80 or 90 years old. But that's what I love about it is instead of going back to an employee, if you have a real estate license and you know the business and you know how to sell, you can always go, you can always go back to that and still have a really good life. The one thing that I found from myself personally, which is why we started the team, is that that's our foundation. But we realized that we don't want to sell houses forever. That's one of my big things. But the team is such a good place for people who are jumping into the business or they want some support. They can go into real estate and produce a good life for themselves and utilize what we offer. But what happens is we get our time back, and that's the one thing that I feel like, and this could be true for you. I don't know if it's not, or if it is or not, but if you're working constantly and you're trying to start a company at the same time, it is damn near impossible to become successful with that business. Right. If you're still having to put so much time into your clients in the real estate side, right. And so that's why Al and I were like, okay, the team option is probably better for us because anything that we do build on top of that the team can benefit from, but it also buys our time back. Yeah. If you look at right now, Alan had to go to meet with a buyer, and he wasn't able to jump in the podcast. Sure. And so just little things like that I look at and I'm like, damn, man, like if he didn't have to go and have that same commitment, he could commit more time to something like this. And this would propel itself a lot quicker. You know what I mean? And
what I love about real estate is I was sitting in a training class. I can't remember when it was, some business I was in. And they said, if you're going to sell something, sell the biggest thing you can. Yeah. If you're going to sell big, sell airplanes, sell boats, sell homes. If you can sell homes to people and you're dealing with, these people are having to be very, very quickly be very open and vulnerable about everything, their finances, their family situation. There's a lot of reasons they could be buying a house and maybe it's not always good. Yeah. And so if you can do that and be comfortable with people and make them feel comfortable, you can sell anything. Yeah. Selling a car is easy, right? It's not like they're buying a car because they're going through a divorce. Maybe, but most times it's homes. They're like, this is what I make. This is what I'm going through. Yeah. This is what's happening with my family. This is why I need this. And if you can relate to people and make them feel comfortable, they'll trust you through anything. I love getting calls from clients when they call me a year later and they're like, ask me something completely unrelated to real estate, it has nothing to do with it, because they see me as that person, as a resource. Like, I'll call Ben, he'll help me.
Yeah.
He'll know something.
I hear that a lot too. It's funny because Ovace, one of our agents, you know, he said, I think you came in one day here with Connie, and one of our agents was here, and he saw you, and then after you left, he came and talked to me, and he's like, oh, you know Ben? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, dude, that guy has got like the best reputation for helping people. He's like, I had so many questions about, I don't know if it was construction. I think he just kind of reinforced that out there in the lobby. But he was saying that about you. And I'm like, that is so awesome. You know what I mean? Because I don't like to, surround myself with people who are not genuine and don't have good hearts and don't really, want to help. And especially to your point when you said that you want to help people, even when it doesn't benefit you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's huge. And we had George Morris here this morning from Century 21. And he was really reinforcing that when it comes to success and making money, is that integrity always has to be number one. Integrity. What was number two? People. And then number three, of course, is money. And people who just try to go after the money, do it for the reason of making money, they always find out that that's a very short-term gain, So no, I'm happy that you're still doing good. And I'm like I'm saying, going back to the house, like, the house is fucking nice. Like I went in the garage the other day, and I'm like, even the garage is nice. Like the floor is clean. Like my garage is oil stains everywhere, Yeah. But I'm just like, that's good, man. And that's why, I wanted to have you here on the podcast too, and kind of talk to you about some of the successes that you had and some of your principles and things like that. We can go into the Daniels Real Estate Services, and you do have a company where you're pushing real estate with your wife. Yeah. And you guys are offering more than just real estate. What are you guys doing? Talk to us.
Well, to get back to your point real quick before going into that, Connie's kind of like my muse. Have you ever had anybody tell you that what you put out will come back to you? Oh, yeah. But maybe not, like, if I show up for you in a certain way, I may not get that directly back from you, but it'll come back. Yeah. I've had friends where I remember I would constantly show up. They needed me. But then there was one day where I was like, I needed help, and I called this person, and they're like, nah, I couldn't help you out. And it didn't make me, I wasn't like, okay, I'm not going to change who I am. My daughter, when she was this was years ago, she's 18 now, but she was telling me, she's like, I said, aren't you going to go hang out with your friend? She goes, no. I said I was going to, but she always ditches me. And I was like, well, don't change who you are just because she does that to you. Continue to show up for people. If you're not going to get it, don't expect to get back what you always give, but you will eventually. Yep. So anyway, but I just feel like that, putting that energy out there, it will always come back to you in some way, but maybe not where you think it's going to come from. Yep. But anyway, on to the Daniels Real Estate Services. Yeah, I think that just all came around from, I think, the change in the market and just wanting to be a wise guide and a single source for everybody. I would love it if somebody called me up, and actually I put this out there before. So many people go through so many hard times, right? And they're struggling right now. And I think there's a lot of kind of anxiety in the world. Like, wouldn't it make you feel good if a friend called you up and said, bro, can you meet me for lunch? I just need a friend. And just had nothing to do with anything, but just needed someone to talk to. And how many people don't reach out, especially men? We're terrible at this, right? At that. Yeah. Being vulnerable and like, man, I am having a hard time. I am depressed. And we've had some suicide in our family. And it always makes you feel like, why didn't they feel like they could call me? Yeah. Or about anything. But I love when people will call and just want someone to talk to or to bounce things off or get some advice or just be a friend. You know, I've been driving around and I just have I think about somebody and you're like, don't make that call when you should have. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, on the real estate side, but I want to kind of have that between us. We're both licensed in real estate and mortgage. Any question you have, like, real estate can be scary for people. Just call me and ask me. I don't care if you're buying with a different builder or you're buying a different house, has nothing to do with me. Just call me and ask me. Yeah. I've done it. I've done all of it. Mm-hmm. Everything related to real estate, mortgages. I've built homes. I've roofed homes. I've studied architecture, kind of everything to do with real estate. I've got some knowledge in, and would love to be that person that people, I have friends call me like, I need a car. Who should I call? I'm like, I got the guy. Yeah. Yeah.
That's one thing I love about you and Billy too, is you're both very much that way with the networking side of it.
Yeah.
And Billy always tells me, if he can't answer my question, call Ben. Because Ben will either know the answer or he'll know the person that I need to talk to answer that question. Yeah. It's a perfect combination with you two.
Billy's very much a connector too. He loves to connect people.
Yeah, you guys are great at networking. Yeah. Really great at networking.
And it's fun. Even like, I mean, you can make social things, everything's in networking. You know, just taking care of, with Whitney, Connie's friend that's on The Housewives, she's actually one of the cast members. I love helping her set up events and do things to help promote her journey, and watching her through that. It's crazy to watch someone go through something like that.
Yeah.
She's really blossomed for sure.
She has brought out the best of her. You know, a lot of people struggle with it because all of a sudden she's got this fame, but she has dealt with it in a way that's just, she's had to become more direct. I love direct people, like people from New York.
Assertive, yeah.
Like, you're that way. I never wonder what you're thinking, because you will just say it. Like, if there's something you're thinking, it's why mess around?
Time?
Yeah, just say it.
Time is too valuable
this is
to
what's
bullshit.
Up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and be honest. And so I love that about her, is that we have a very real friendship, and it's fun. It's been fun.
Yeah. Daniel, we're going to find some clips of Ben sitting in the background with a drink in his hand and put it on here, right? So people can see it. No, that's awesome. But you have some experience, or you're investing in some solar stuff right now, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you can talk about that right now.
Yeah, I think that's another, just looking at where things are going. You know, you're seeing states like California mandate it for new construction. Yeah. I compare it to Tesla. Remember 4 years ago, you'd be driving and be like, whoa, that was a Tesla.
Yeah.
Now kids in high school drive Teslas. Yep. It's like not that big a deal. Solar, I think, is somewhat the same way. I think you're going to see more solar sales in the next 4 years than we've seen in the last 20.
Wow.
Just because, and as I've learned more and more about it, and I think it's one of those things too, that as a lot of my mortgage friends or real estate friends, they're like, I have all these clients ask me, should I go solar? And then they do, and I don't benefit from it. So how can you, as a realtor, as a mortgage person, be a resource to connect people to those things, but also, you know, make some money doing that too.
Yeah.
So there's a new program. I'm working with a company called Lumio that's coming out with some amazing stuff. They're really, it's very, very new. Can't really talk about too much of it yet, but they want to be the single source for everything related to your home. I was talking with a friend of mine from San Francisco. He's a private equity guy. He buys companies, and he says, my most limited resource is my time. I've got money. I've got this. My most valuable resource is my time. If I can find something that's going to be more convenient for me, I'll pay for that. You know, if you had one place where you're like, I need everything related to my home is in one spot, that would be incredible. Yeah. So that's like having it comes back to that person, having a person that you call for everything. They can, I can connect people with an investment person or an insurance person.
Yeah. You talked about it earlier. You said Utah was a place for MLMs. Mm-hmm. There was an MLM here. Do you guys remember that MLM where it was kind of like that? What you're saying, it was that, and they would bring people on, and I don't know if they were selling like a contract. Like that was the MLM. It was like a contract that was universal, and you were able to use to get paid for even setting up cable with people.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Did you guys ever hear about that one?
I haven't.
It was like it was endorsed by Trump too. Fucking guy.
Really?
Yeah. I cannot remember the name. I'll think of it. Maybe Daniel and I can find it after, and you can throw it up there. Pretty funny, but I had so many friends that just popped up out of the blue calling me, "Hey, you want to get lunch?" And I'm like, oh, fuck. You know those days. Those days when people were like, hey, you want to get lunch? And you're like, I know you're going to pitch me something.
It's not for the same reasons that Ben's calling people for lunch.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying it's funny because that concept, it actually worked for a minute. It did work for a minute. I just think when
I remember the video
MLM,
phone, the video phone thing.
Oh, yeah. That thing that you just sit on your desk.
Yeah, this big, huge video phone. And I mean, there's all these great ideas, and then the iPhone kind of got rid of all of it. Right?
Yep. No, I think that's good, and you're right. There should be a place because, Alan's one of those people where time is extremely, extremely valuable to him, and he's the one who really got me into not taking lunches. Because when I first got my license, every lender and every title person was calling me, and brokerages and hit me up. Hey, let's go grab lunch. And I'm like, damn, I don't have to buy food ever again. Like, you just go eat lunch with everybody. Right. You know what I mean, for free.
Yeah, but your 30-minute lunch break quickly turns into 3.5, 4 hours.
Yeah. And then I never made that mistake. I didn't go once, and Alan told me, hey, don't ever do that. It's a waste of time. You know, they just want to get something from you. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, that's true to a certain extent. And of course, even for him, he knows it's true to a certain extent.
But every person you meet, I was telling my son, I'm like, Josh, you're brilliant. You're going to be a tech somebody. Yeah. I just know he will be. But you've got to reach out and meet people. Like everyone that meets him loves him. Yeah. I used to walk through the high school with him. They're like, what's up, Daniels? What's up, Daniels? I'm like, dude, where are all these friends? Why don't you have them over to like our house we built so our kids could have a fun place to bring their friends, and none of them, they never wanted to. Yeah. So we made it fun for us.
That was the plan the whole time. Don't lie.
Yeah, right. But like, I think it's that entrepreneurial mindset. Like, have you ever run into somebody that they know that you sell real estate, and maybe it's one of your good friends, and they're at lunch with a friend, and they're like, oh man, I really need to buy a house. And they're like, cool, yeah, cool. Well, anyway, how's your salad? Never go, you got to call Fernando. Mm-hmm. But people like us know right away to, like Billy posted that thing about, and I stole it and shared it. If my friend owns a car company, I'm buying their car. Yeah. If they own a salon, I'm getting my hair cut there. Yeah. Like, support your friends in business. Why would you go out and buy Dr. Dre's headphones if your friend has what is it about that celebrity that makes their product better than your friend? Yeah. And some people just don't think that way. It's so easy to just make that connection. And why not do it? And the more you do it, the more people will do it for you. But if everybody was like that, oh my gosh.
Yeah, we'd be living in 2400.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
Yeah. No, that's good. But going back to the Daniels Real Estate Services, you guys have an event that you're planning here pretty soon, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about that. It's going to be pretty cool.
Really just going to be kind of it's a little late for end of summer. I guess it'll be fall. We're doing October 22nd at the Utah Motorsports Park, or used to be the Larry Miller Racetrack. A friend of mine, Dixon Hunt, runs that place. And Billy and I are going to put on car show, track day, just networking event. We want all kind of entrepreneurs, high-level people, people that love cars, real estate people, lenders, hard money, really anybody. Just get people out there that are like-minded and love to we're going to get a whole group of people together and just have a great day.
Yeah,
have
food trucks and DJ, yeah.
It'll be fun. We're going to have instructors out there. So if you've got a car that you want to take around the track, or you want to they have a whole fleet of Lotuses. Or if you just have a car you want to put on show, it'll come out. We're going to have more coming out on that in social media soon. We're just working on those flyers now. But just to really, we've got all these groups, everybody's connected somehow, and we just want to kind of cast that net and get everybody out and just have a good time and network and meet new people. And I love hearing people's stories. It's incredible to meet people and find out what they do, and it's shocking some of the ways people make money, right?
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
And there's a lot of money coming to Utah. It's crazy. I was driving through Daybreak and I got passed by a Rolls-Royce Phantom out in Daybreak. I was like, what is this?
I can't wait to see those more and more.
Well, and with the Lamborghini dealership here, you're seeing exotic car, and there's a ton of car people here. You just don't see them on the road. Mm-hmm. And there's just a lot of very, very successful people that if you saw walk by, you would never know it. They're very under the radar. Mm-hmm. I did a photo shoot with a friend of mine, Kenneth Boggs. He does KB.
Yeah, he came and did suits for us.
Oh, love that guy. And he had me come out and kind of I was one of the models, I guess, for this shoot he did for Essence Magazine. And we were in this airplane hangar with like Learjet, helicopters. And there was this this guy just sort of sitting there, and I would have never thought it was his. I mean,
it was his hangar?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So everybody's rolling around in these, really nice custom suits, and this guy's just sort of casual over there hanging out. And he was the big dog. Yeah, super nice guy too. Yeah.
When was that? Because I saw that on social media. I saw the videos, I saw the clips.
Yeah, it was about a month ago, and the magazine's come out. I haven't actually seen the spread yet, but he's amazing. Yeah. That guy, he was out doing some stuff. He does a lot of athletes. And have you got your suits yet?
No, not yet.
I'm telling you, man, there's nothing like it.
Seriously.
Yeah. I think back to the days when I was going to church and wearing a suit that was 3 sizes too big, and
it's just fitted.
Put on a custom suit, and it's just a whole different. It's a game changer.
That's cool.
He'll push your style comfort zone a little bit for you.
Yeah.
But he makes you look one of a kind. That's one thing I love too. Is his suits? You're not going to see them, replicated over and over and over. Yeah. He's going to make something that's special just for you. And that's such a beautiful experience for sure. One thing I wanted to touch on what you just said though is, you know, obviously you saw this guy sitting off to the side, just kind of chilling, and you didn't expect him to be the one that owns the hangar. You know, one thing that Billy always is like a good point that he drives home is that you always treat the janitor the same way that you treat the CEO. And being in positions like that where you start getting around influential people, you never know who you're going to meet.
Right.
So going back to that, you know, what George Morris was talking about this morning, leading with, you know, integrity and people, and then money just follows. That's just a prime example of that. Like if you go out and you meet someone that's just a genuinely awesome person, but you treat them with kindness, they're going to be so grateful for that experience. Because, I mean, think about it. When people start getting into, you know, being multimillionaires, and how do they make friends at that point? Because everybody just wants to use them. Yeah. You know, but if you get into the idea of like what Ben was saying, and you just treat everybody kindly, and same thing with Billy, and everybody treats that way, your network is just going to drastically grow. Yeah. And that's such a good thing to have, and like a good way to go about it.
Yeah. And you attract those same people. Yeah. You know, one of our buddies, shout out to Josh Johnson. He's got a real estate team here.
Oh, Josh.
So he was telling us at the hair show, he has a hair company.
Oh, he does?
He's got a barbershop, yeah. He's got 26, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. He's crushing it in that industry. But we were talking, and he said something that hit home. He's like, hey, you know, and when you're developing a business, you're developing a team, you know, a team in any business that you have, you are going to go through people. He's like, and the numbers suck because you might have to go through 10 or 20 people to find one good guy. Yeah. He's like, but that's going to happen. And I'm really grateful that we had that conversation, because it made me realize a lot of the stuff that we've been dealing with the last month, 2 months, 3 months, just making sure we are sticking to our core values, our core beliefs, our integrity, and those people always come. And you might go through 20 of them just to find that one, you know, but as long as you stay true to it, like that just naturally happens, you know. Which is pretty awesome. And one of the reasons why I like you, because we just met, you know, not too long ago, but I immediately hit it off with you and Connie and my wife the same way. And you can just tell when you meet a good person, you know, you're just like, okay, there's nothing, no bullshit, don't have to hide anything, you know. Right. But no, I'm really happy that we stuck to that. And, you know, big announcement here with UVO Group. We just finalized, you know, the move with C21. We're moving brokerages, which has been a long time coming, you know, really has been a long time coming. And no disrespect to Realty One, they're a great place, but it's just not a great place for us, you know. But I'm really happy about that, because now when you talk about surrounding yourself with those people, the right people, we're going to be in an environment where there are an enormous amount of them.
Yeah. All those energies are starting to really align. Yeah. And, you know, like you were saying earlier, what you put out is what you're going to get back, and regardless of who you're getting it from. Like you were saying, like everybody is coming together for a greater common good, and it's so exciting to see where that's going. And I really think Century 21 is going to be a huge place for that. Yeah. And then everything that you're doing in the industry with, you know, your Daniel's real estate, like that's going to be huge for you guys, because you have already laid that foundation that all these people are attracted to you guys. Like you have such a beautiful network of people that it's just going to explode for you. I'm excited. Yeah.
Utah's growing up. I mean, it really is growing up as a city.
Yeah. Tell me, I mean, maybe you know this more than us because you're involved in the new construction. The word on the street obviously has been that we can't build houses as fast as people want them. Right. This last little bit. Do you see it slowing down anytime soon? Has it kind of leveled off a little bit?
No. Are we catching up? Edge is more, they're buying more land than they ever have before. We have more land and lot deliveries under control than ever before. They're very optimistic about where it's going. We had intended on releasing probably 25 to 30% more this year than we're going to be able to, and that's not because we didn't want to. It's just cities are a little bit backed up, and they're trying to you know, getting project approved is taking longer, and that's the bottleneck. Utah's a little tough that there's only so, you know, it's like Scottsdale, you can't go forever, right? You've got these mountains and stuff, but there's still a lot of ground to move to. And you're going to see, I remember hearing that, you know, this new project, The Point, that's going to happen where the prison is, that's going to be kind of like the new downtown. Yeah. And then we're going to go from there. And Utah County, Lehigh is growing like mad. Yeah. I think Utah, it's going to continue to grow. We've always been a little bit different market, right? You see things happen on the coasts and they're like, oh my gosh, things are slowing down, and Utah's a little different. Up there.
Yeah. Oh, we're always super strong. We're always top one or two with the economy during a recession. Utah's
a great place for business. I mean, you're going to see so many, and I think on top of it, with having gone through COVID and so many companies working remotely and working from home, a lot of them are like, why would we stop doing this?
Yeah.
We're going to reduce traffic. We're going to keep more people working from home. And then when people realize I can work from anywhere, I don't have to live in New York City.
Yeah.
I can live in a place like Utah. Utah's a little bit of a secret, and it's getting out for sure. But I've been all over the country. I've lived all over East Coast, West Coast. I don't know anywhere else I would rather live.
Yeah.
I'd have a place in Malibu if I could. That'd be awesome. But
yeah, that would be awesome. And that's the only thing is we just don't have a beach. That's pretty much
we don't
it.
have a beach. Yeah.
I'm here. What are you talking about?
And we can go to a beach. How quick? But yeah, we've got incredible hikes. Sometimes it's amazing to drive 15 minutes from my house and go, this is.
Dude, last night, the wife and I, we got the kids in the car and we're like, hey, let's head up and see the trees in Big Cottonwood.
Yeah.
And we just drove through and then ended up going all the way to Park City and just hung out over there and had dinner.
Did you guys do
came
Guardsman's
back through.
Pass?
Is that what it's called?
Up and over?
That weird point?
We did that yesterday too.
Oh, that's cool.
That's funny.
So we went and did that, and I'm just like, this was like a 20-minute drive to that place.
It was
it's
epic.
not even that. It's not even that far.
You got the lakes, and you can get onto the desert, and there's just everything in Utah. And we're very central.
Yeah.
We travel a lot, and I've been to Mexico. I think too many times. We have a second residency, but you meet people from all over the country, and they're like, Utah, what? You guys are from Utah?
But dude, the word is getting out.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
The word is getting out, and I saw this 10 years ago because I was in my business. I was traveling from Denver to Las Vegas, California, back and forth, sometimes 3 times a week. And when I was doing that, I always came back home to Salt Lake, and I was always like, you know what? We have everything in place for this to be the next Hollywood, the next massive city with a great name, and people know us worldwide. And I'm starting to see that now. And then just doing what we did last week, we went to tour one of our local spots, Lake Effect, one of these awesome nightclubs / restaurants. And we went down there, and we were in the city, and we were looking at how much new construction there's going on over here. And it's actually mind boggling. It kind of like messed with me. It did. It messed with me because I grew up downtown for a good portion of my life, downtown Salt Lake, and the Salt Palace was a staple. And when you see it now, and I just think it was huge, and then you see what they're building right on top of it, which is completely engulfed the whole thing. It's kind of mind blowing. You're like, holy shit! This like in the last 20 years, Salt Lake went from living in the 1900s to like 2100. Like it's just really crazy how much new construction's going on.
And our population's going to double pretty quickly.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna need some more freeways.
Like,
Unfortunately, that road's construction's not going anywhere.
I saw a study, and I don't know if this is true because it sounds pretty crazy. In the next, I think it was by the year 2033, we're going to have an additional 10 million people.
And what do we have now?
And I don't know, but that's pretty crazy. And this is the entire state of Utah. You're talking
state of Utah.
Yeah, not just Salt Lake.
Wasatch Front, I've always heard is somewhere around $1 million something, $1.3 million. I could be way off, but and that's when people talk about prices. They're like, oh my gosh, can our prices keep going up?
Ooh, says Wasatch Front, we have 2.6 million people.
Oh, it's definitely gone up because I think it was about 1.6 a while ago.
Yeah, so it has doubled in the last maybe 5 years. But look at a place like Palo Alto and what prices are. Palo Alto was the tech, Silicon Slopes is every bit that.
Yes.
So it would be crazy to see. Our prices could go there.
Yeah. I think it will. This is my prediction. I think it will. And I think you're right about the Draper area being the next downtown. One of the reasons why we moved out of the city, because we lived downtown for like 10 years, one of the reasons we moved out of the city was they're so close to those damn refineries. And I don't care what anybody says about it not having an effect. Oh, yeah. I know there was a damn effect because now that I moved out of there, I don't get allergies like I used to. I don't have this weird cough and like it keeps me up at night. And I had that when I lived downtown. And I'm like, if they had the city without those damn refineries, that place would explode. But then you go to like Draper and you look at all that real estate that's going to be available because the prison's going to be gone. And I don't know if they're going to be able to build on is that like swamplands? Is that what that is over there?
Oh, yeah.
Are they able to build on that?
They'll probably find a way.
If
they can build it.
If they can scoop away all that dirt and just bring in more new topsoil or something.
If New Orleans can be built, I'm sure they can.
Exactly.
If they can figure out how to utilize that land, I have zero doubt that area is going to become prime real estate here in the country.
Well,
I remember when Edge said we were going to build condos. I was like, condos in Utah.
Yeah.
Because when I first started selling real estate in 2005, we had new married couples early 20s buying a 4,000 foot Rambler on half an acre.
Yep.
That was their starter home.
Yep.
And now people are, it's normal. You buy a condo and then you go to a townhome and then you go to, it's like the natural progression of a house.
Yep.
So, and the condos have been incredible. And yeah, I've still got investors from all over the country, especially like Seattle, Phoenix, California, that are like $370 for a condo. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because investments don't pencil in Seattle, but they should make sense to them here. So you've got all these out-of-state people buying, and even rentals. Put something up for rent and see how long it takes to rent.
Yeah.
They're
bidding war.
Oh,
there's bidding wars. Yeah. There are bidding wars for rentals, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, I love seeing that growth here in Utah, especially here in Salt Lake City, which is where we are. And we're definitely going to do our part to put Salt Lake City on the map, for sure. Right now, for sure, especially here in real estate. So if you guys are an agent out there looking to check out hottest team here in Utah, hit us up.
We've got some really big things coming.
I remember when Connie and I first met you, she was like, wait, are you guys, because she had seen some of your branding and she's like, when she saw it, she was like, oh, why am I not on that team? She thought they're so cool. They just have that image and just your team environment. And if you can build something that people just want to be a part of, because people get enjoyment from their job in one of two ways. They feel good about what they do and who they work with, or they make a lot of money, or both.
Yeah.
And if it's one or the other, they'll stay. But both is ideal, right?
Oh yeah,
and you've got both.
Yeah, dude, that's like the pinnacle. I'm telling you, and we're seeing it now, and that's why George even reiterated, and he really reinforced that this morning, and we were talking right there in the lobby when he's like, "You guys are attracting people who are already winning in life." You know what I mean? He's like, "So there's something special here." And I think that's so true, because we have people here who are winning in life, who are doing really well, and they love being on the team. And Alan and I know why. We know what we have to offer. We know our value. We know our vision. And that's, I think, the biggest one is he hit on it in there too. We talk about if you're on a team, you want to make sure that their dream is big enough to fit yours, and ours is fucking massive.
It's huge.
It's huge.
Well, and have inspiring
It's
people.
huge.
I feel like message of people all around me have been over the last couple of years. It's like I'm very protective of my energy because I don't have time for negative energy. I want people that just want to build me up, and I would love to have a goal to go out imagine if every person everywhere woke up every day and said, today I'm going to go impact someone's life for the better. I don't know how I'm going to do it. There's a guy I see at Harmon's that is so stoked. I just really enjoy people that just love their job. He's like a host. I don't even know what his job is there, but he comes up, he's like, welcome to Harmon's. This is the greatest grocery store on earth. And you're just like, whoa, I'm stoked to be at Harmon's right now.
Yeah, that just gave me chills.
And I checked out one day, and this girl was checking me out, and I bought a notebook because I still have to write everything down for my to-dos. I never found a better way. She goes, oh, I just love seeing a blank notebook. I mean, what are the possibilities of this notebook? And I was like,
that's pretty cool.
It's profound from
she's
the grocery
awesome.
store.
Like I left Harmon's just like on a high, and that was Harmon's, right? It's not like it wasn't a doctor.
It's a local staple here in Utah.
I love people like that. Or like I ran somebody at the gas station, same way. They just make you uplift you. So like positively influence people every day. Go out and make someone feel better. Build people up. Surround yourself with people that are better than you.
Yep.
In some way, because that's why I think a lot of friendships, we have so many good friends, and everybody has friends. You look to different relationships and friends and go, they're very good at this. I want to be more like that. Yeah. Or I can grow in this way. And, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's good. Good message. QUINSEE, you have anything to add before you gotta get out of here? Because you gotta leave.
I mean, me and Ben both have to leave.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you too. You gotta go to Provo. Everyone's working. Well, dude, thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
Ben, thanks so much for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I want to have you here on more, especially as your business evolves and grows. And then definitely we need to finish.
Our event coming up in October.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's do another. So
but hold on. Don't we have? You have a day that's solid now.
October 22nd.
October
22nd from 1 to 9. You'll see it on social media everywhere. We should have some banners and some media out this week.
Okay.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Are we looking for any sponsors or anything like that for that event?
Absolutely. We're including a lot of our network of people. We want to grow our friends' businesses too. So yeah,
Perfect.
Definitely.
Okay, we're going to be a sponsor for sure. I even talked to you about that.
Yeah.
We should set up. Dude, how impressive would it be to put the desk over there?
The podcast desk?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
that
it comes.
would be
It's modular.
Oh yeah.
Let's
the
do a
whole thing.
podcast while we're there.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Perfect.
Yeah, we'll set that up.
Love it.
So yeah, let us know the information. We'll put it down in the description below. This is going to come out on Sunday. It's a little closer to the event, so we'll have some information for people to go to. But if you're here in Salt Lake City, Utah, and you like cars, definitely check out. Do you guys have a name for the event yet?
We got to come up with something.
Oh shit! Hurry up, dude.
Yeah,
This is the place you want to have
Comment
that.
below suggestions. Give us your suggestions.
Yeah.
But the event's for everybody too. So I want to make sure it's not just for people with cars and real estate and networking. It's literally for anybody. Anybody that wants to come out and enjoy a beautiful day at the track, spend some time with some great people, great food. Like everybody should come out and enjoy it. It's a good spot.
Nice. I love it. Okay. Well, thank you so much, QUINSEE, for being
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you so much, Ben. Ben, let's give you a shout out on Instagram. What's your Instagram handle?
Ben F. Daniels.
Ben F. Daniels. No dots.
Nope.
Okay, perfect. And then do you have a Facebook?
Yeah, same.
Ben F. Daniels.
Yeah, I got in early.
Awesome. Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Daniel, for being behind the scenes. When you get a camera on you, we say it every time. Please just put an order in and let's get one. So you can be more a part of the conversation. But thanks again for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.
I think I'm playing chess, I see a king, I'm at his neck. I'm 3 steps ahead at every move, now that's a check. Yes, they wanna know my secret, it's because I never slept. All my nightmares of me at 40, life's a wreck. See my dad